So today I'd like to talk about my favorite best value smartphone gimbal. It's the AOCHUAN SmartX Pro. If you're looking for a gimbal for your smartphone, I definitely recommend checking this one out. This gimbal not only does a good job stabilizing, it also packs a ton of features. And I'm going to talk about a few of those features briefly today so that you know what this gimbal features in case you want to check it out. So first of all, this gimbal is compatible with Android and iPhone devices, and it can support a phone up to a weight of 250 grams. So if you're like me and you have a bigger phone like the iPhone 12 Pro or some of the Samsung Galaxies, which are quite large, this gimbal will support them and balance and stabilize that footage with no problems. Second thing I like about this gimbal is it's a really easy to open gimbal. It's just one click. All you have to do is unfold it with one click and it's open. The third thing I like about it is it's got the tripod mount here. So you screw this onto the bottom and then you can unfold the legs on it and your gimbal will stand just like that. Fourth thing I like is it's really easy to balance. So you're gonna put your phone in right here. Now something to note, most cases will not fit on here if you have a larger phone like mine. You are going to probably have to remove the case if you have a case on it. On mine, I have an OtterBox case, and the OtterBox case is kind of bulky, and the phone will not fit on here with that. But when you take off your OtterBox case, it'll fit quite well. So in order to balance it, you're just gonna lift up the clips here. You're gonna put them on somewhere near the center. And if your phone does this, what you wanna do is you wanna slide it left and right until it gets some balance here. And what we're gonna be looking for is we're gonna want it to sit upright like this. So we're getting real close. And I recommend putting it on the tripod mount when balancing it. It makes it nice and easy. So see, we've slid it too far that way. We're gonna slide it back this way. And that's about where we want it on this phone. It's gonna differ based on the model of phone, but in general, if you have it somewhere near the center, it's gonna be good. The fifth thing I like about this relates to this clamp right here. If you look really close along here, there is a gap here where the clamp is. So this clamp, when it clamps your phone, even if you have it over top of your buttons when it's balanced, it's not going to set off those buttons. It's not going to push on them and cause your phone to dial something it shouldn't or to activate something it shouldn't. There's plenty of gap here between these clamps and the phone where it's not going to push the buttons. So that's also great. Some gimbals are not like that. A lot of gimbals, if you have to balance them over your buttons, they're gonna start pushing your buttons and doing all kinds of bad stuff. The next thing I like about this gimbal is it's really easy to use. You hit the power button here to turn it on. We've got it right there. Camera lenses are right here. As you can see, it's real nice and steady. There's a light on here. And in order to turn on the built-in light, all you have to do is tap the power button twice rapidly, and then it turns on the light. Most phones, of course, do have a light on them, but that light on the phones is very harsh and bright. This light is much more subtle. The next thing I like about this gimbal is it has built-in wireless charging. So if your phone supports wireless charging, all you have to do is hit the red button here and hold down on it, and it'll activate the wireless charging feature. So that's super cool. Speaking of wireless charging, this also has a battery built into it that's removable. And the removable battery right here, you can get several of these. So if you're concerned about the battery on the gimbal running out, you can bring along a couple of these and you can easily pop in one. You don't have to recharge the whole thing before you can use it again. So that's super cool. And the battery door you can remove with no tools, just pops off, pops right back on. So I really like that about this gimbal. Most gimbals do not have a removable battery, and once the battery's gone on it, you have to wait until you can charge it again. So that to me makes the wireless charging feature even more useful because you can charge your phone with the power from the battery in here. And then if you use up this battery power quicker because of that, just pop in another one. Super easy. You of course also have manual control over the angle of your camera. So you can do this. And you also have several different modes that you can put this into. So you can do the inception mode, which a lot of people like. It can allow you to do some creative stuff on here. There's also the traditional modes that most gimbals have that you could use, which I find myself using the traditional ones most of the time. In addition, there's also a great app that goes along with this. I'm going to show you what that app looks like here. The app is very extensive with its features. There's a lot of features in that app. So when you get into the app, there is a ton of different options in here. In fact, there's so many that I could just make a separate video on the app alone because there's so many different settings that you can do in here. There's the expert mode where you can adjust the shutter, the ISO, the white balance, the manual focus, all kinds of stuff. The EV comp, there's slow motion mode, there's video, there's photo, panorama, Hitchcock, Inception, moves, all kinds of stuff. It's very cool. You can select your resolution up here, what you want to film in. You can also select if you want H.264, H.265. I highly recommend installing the app to go along with this because the app is great. Even if you don't want to use it for filming video, if you have another app you like or you just like the default app on your smartphone, that's fine. But there are a lot of settings in here that you can customize, and I think that's a good reason to have it. It's also got this anti-shake setting. So it is a gimbal and it does smooth video, but if you want a little bit extra, like if you're gonna be doing a lot of fast or really shaky movements, it's good to turn on the anti-shake. You also can use this to zoom. It's digital zoom, but still, it's pretty cool. And along the right side here, it will show you the percentage charged on your phone and then the percentage in the gimbal. All right, so I'm holding this out at arm's length and I'm walking along with it now. Like I said, the stabilization on the iPhone 12 Pro is entirely off. The stabilization is purely on this gimbal, on the Smart X Pro. And I've got to say, it looks really good on here. I don't see much movement at all to it, so it looks really good. You can spin around like this too, side to side, side to side. Does a great job. Very impressed. I can set it anywhere, like on a flat rock, a tree stump, any place in the woods, and I can just stand here, crouch here, and talk to it. So right here, obviously have it a little bit lower off the ground, but I could set it higher up too if I had a place to do so. So the tripod is very handy and I really like that. Gives you a lot of flexibility with your phone and the ability to just set it down somewhere. Whereas when you have your phone like this, you can't just set it down somewhere. You'd have to balance it against something and hope it doesn't slide. So now just to give you a gauge of how well the gimbal stabilizes, this is just me walking around with stabilization fully turned off and without the gimbal in use. As you can see, it's a little bit shakier. It's a lot shakier. If I'm not moving, you know, it's not too bad, but got our little gimbal down here on the ground. Does a great job. Been very impressed with it. All right, now I'm walking along using the wide angle lens instead of the ultra wide. So this is a little bit more of a crop. I believe on the iPhone 12 Pro, this is about 27 millimeters. So I'm gonna look around side to side as I walk along as well, just to really put this to the test. Really impressed by the performance. Do not see much jitter at all, and I'm not even trying to walk smooth. I'm walking kind of rough right now. So this is with the telephoto lens turned on the iPhone 12 Pro. So telephoto is quite a zoom. So stabilization would theoretically be a little bit trickier with that, but I feel like it's doing a really good job. I'm gonna get a few more samples with that as well.
I'm gonna keep flowing walks back and forth.
All right, give us a good splash.
Your whole one was a good splash.
That was a good splash. Right here, we've got it in ultra wide mode. And I'm walking along doing a test just to see how things look. So far, the stabilization looks really good. I see my phone barely moving on this. It looks like it's doing a great job. Good stabilization samples. Good toss.
I had 2 with reacting.
Oh, that's real good.
Stabilization looks great with this as well. One of those things on the iPhone is remembering to look into the camera because it's on the very side of the phone when you've got it sideways. You know, you're used to looking at the center to look into a camera, but you have to look at the side on an iPhone, and most phones for that matter. So if you're looking for a smartphone gimbal, I definitely recommend checking out the AOCHUAN Smart X Pro. This gimbal is packed with features, especially for the price. And even if you don't need all of the features like myself, where I just generally keep it simple, I'm still glad to have those features when I want them. And even if I didn't use the features, I would still buy this gimbal because the price is really good for what it offers. I've linked to the AOCHUAN Smart X Pro in the description below, and I definitely encourage you to check it out if you're looking for a smartphone gimbal.